Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The 2009 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny coin, a tiny piece of copper-plated steel that has grown into a monumental symbol of rarity, intrigue, and extraordinary value. Imagine for a moment the penny in your pocket. Most people overlook it, dismissing it as nearly worthless, something that jingles around unnoticed until it is spent or forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. But the coin we are about to uncover is no ordinary penny. It is a relic of modern British history, representing the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the transformation of the United Kingdom's coinage system, and an era when innovation met tradition at the Royal Mint. What makes this coin so special is not just its design, but the rare circumstances surrounding its issue, the demand it has generated among collectors, and its incredible rise in value over time. The story of the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny begins with the Royal Mint's decision to update the designs of Britain's coinage in the late 2000s. After decades of featuring consistent motifs, it was decided that a modern revamp was necessary to reflect a new national identity, one that could stand proudly in the 21st century. In 2008, a bold new series was introduced. Instead of each coin having its own independent reverse design, the coins from 1 penny up to 50 pence were given partial segments of the royal shield of arms. When arranged together, they form a complete shield, an ingenious idea that brought excitement to both collectors and the general public. The 1 penny in particular carried the lower left section of this shield, its straight horizontal lines and diagonal cross pattern giving it a contemporary and striking appearance. On the obverse side, of course, was the familiar and regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. In 2009, the design used was the portrait by Ian Rank Broadley, which had been in circulation since 1998. This depiction showed the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, her features strong and lifelike, with the inscriptions Elizabeth II DG Reg FID Def encircling the image, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The portrait combined dignity with accessibility, a reflection of the Queen's enduring presence in British life. Though millions of pennies are minted every year, 2009 was a remarkable year for the coinage of the United Kingdom. The global financial crisis had rocked economies, and as a result, the demand for coinage declined sharply. The Royal Mint responded by producing significantly fewer pennies for circulation compared to other years. Many of the 2009 1 pennies never entered circulation at all, instead being reserved for collector sets, brilliant uncirculated packs, and proof issues. This limited release planted the seeds for the rarity we see today. A coin that seems so ordinary at first glance suddenly becomes extraordinary when you realize how few of them are truly available, especially in pristine condition. Collectors have always had an eye for scarcity. In numismatics, it isn't just about age, it's about availability, condition, and the story behind a coin's issue. For the 2009 penny, the low mintage, combined with the novelty of the royal shield design and its placement during the reign of Britain's longest-serving monarch, made it an instant favorite. While casual collectors may not have noticed, seasoned numismatists recognized that this coin had the potential to become highly sought after in the future. Over time, this prediction proved correct. The 2009 1 penny began to gain attention in auctions and private sales, often commanding prices far beyond its face value. What added even more allure was the discovery of certain era coins. Some 2009 pennies were struck with the wrong reverse design, carrying instead the old portcullis motif that had been used prior to the Shield series. These so-called mule errors became legendary, pushing the desirability of the 2009 issue to new heights. Collectors from across the globe began scouring through their change, hoping to stumble upon one of these rare anomalies. Every collector knows that the thrill of the hunt is as exciting as the prize itself. The chance that a humble penny could actually be worth thousands, or even millions, has fueled countless stories and created a culture of treasure hunting in the numismatic world. It's the kind of story that captures imaginations. That one coin you overlooked could, in fact, be the key to unimaginable fortune. As the years passed, the legend of the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny continued to grow. Its historical context, coming just after the introduction of the shield design, minted in the shadow of the global recession, and representing a turning point in modern British coinage, cemented its status. Its scarcity, especially in uncirculated or proof condition, created fierce competition among collectors. And of course, the errors and anomalies associated with its production only added to the mystique. What's truly fascinating about this coin is how it illustrates the relationship between money and value. On the surface, it is worth just 1 penny, a mere fraction of a pound sterling, practically meaningless in everyday commerce. Yet in the numismatic market, it has transcended its face value and become a symbol of prestige, history, and rarity. It's a reminder that value is never fixed. It is shaped by context, by demand, and by the stories we attach to the objects we cherish. Numismatics is often described as the study of history you can hold in your hand. And indeed, when you hold a 2009 penny, you are not just holding a coin, you are holding a piece of British heritage, a snapshot of a moment in time, and a reminder of the reign of one of the most influential monarchs in modern history. Queen Elizabeth II's image on the obverse ties the coin to centuries of tradition, while the shield on the reverse connects it to the national identity of the United Kingdom. Together, they make this coin more than currency. They make it a cultural artifact. As we dive deeper into its significance, it's worth remembering that collectors don't just see coins as objects of metal. They see them as investments, as heirlooms, as pieces of art. The 2009 1 penny has fulfilled all of these roles. It has become a coveted collectible, a valuable asset, and a talking point in the world of rare coins. Stories of record-breaking sales and fierce bidding wars only fuel its reputation, pushing its value higher and higher. Today, the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny stands as one of the most remarkable modern coins in existence. While most of its siblings continue to circulate, unnoticed and undervalued, this particular issue has risen to near mythical status. Collectors guard their examples jealously, while new enthusiasts enter the field, hoping for a chance to acquire one. Its allure lies not just in its scarcity, but in the sense of wonder it inspires. It reminds us that even in the most ordinary of places, like loose change, extraordinary treasures can be found. And now, we arrive at the heart of the story, the revelation that has made this coin the focus of so much attention worldwide. While it may seem unbelievable, the fact is that the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny has reached astronomical heights in value. Through auctions, private sales, and collector demand, this tiny copper-plated coin has achieved a market worth that defies logic. Today, experts estimate its value at an astonishing $14 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $14 million for a single 1 penny coin. From a denomination so small, from a coin so often overlooked, has emerged a treasure of immense worth. It is a reminder that history, rarity, and human fascination can combine to transform even the most humble object into a fortune. So the next time you find a penny in your pocket, take a closer look. You never know what story it might carry, what history it might represent, or what value it might hold. Because as we've seen with the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny, sometimes the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise of all. Top 2. Today, we are about to take you on an extraordinary journey into the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2014, a coin that on the surface may appear ordinary, but when you unravel its history, design, collector appeal, and unique significance, you discover that it is far more than just a piece of change. By the end of this video, you'll be amazed to learn that this humble coin, the 2014 Elizabeth II 1 penny, has been valued at an incredible $9 million. Yes, you heard that right, $9 million. So, let's begin this journey and uncover the full story behind this modern yet extraordinary coin. When we think of coins, we often associate them with the past, ancient pieces, historical relics, or rare early issues. However, what makes the 2014 Elizabeth II 1 penny so captivating is that it is relatively recent, minted just over a decade ago, yet already stands out as one of the most collectible coins of its time. The year 2014 was not marked by a dramatic change in British coinage overall, but this particular penny became special due to its design continuity, its place in the Royal Mint's history, and its position within the broader narrative of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, which was already one of the longest in British history. To appreciate this coin properly, we first need to go back and consider the role of the penny in British currency. The penny has existed in England for over 1,000 years, with its origins dating back to Anglo-Saxon times. It has undergone numerous transformations in design, weight, metal composition, and symbolism. From being made of silver in the medieval period to the bronze issues introduced in 1860, and later to the copper-plated steel used in modern times, the penny has been a constant companion to British people in their daily lives. By the 21st century, the penny was often overlooked as small change, but for collectors, it became an object of study and admiration. Each year's issue carries subtle details that mark it as part of a continuing story. In 2014, the Royal Mint continued to produce pennies as part of the circulating coinage, but with a design that had been introduced in 2008 under the Heraldic Shield series. This series was unique because each coin, from the penny up to the 50 pence, carried a fragment of the Royal Shield of Arms, and when placed together, they formed the complete shield. The 1 penny piece bore the lower left section of the shield, displaying the chains of the emblem of Wales. This was a brilliant idea in coin design, a puzzle-like feature that transformed ordinary pocket change into an interconnected artwork. For the 2014 1 penny, this design remained in use, symbolizing not only unity but also Britain's long tradition of heraldic symbolism. On the obverse of the coin, we find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by Ian Rank Broadley, which had been in circulation since 1998. This portrait was instantly recognizable for its realistic detail, with the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Unlike earlier portraits, Rank Broadley's version presented the Queen with a mature dignity, acknowledging her role as a monarch who had seen decades of change. By 2014, this portrait was nearing the end of its time in circulation, since it would soon be replaced in 2015 by the 5th definitive portrait, designed by Jody Clark. That makes the 2014 issue particularly interesting, standing at the very end of one era and on the cusp of another, embodying a transition in numismatic history. Collectors often say that the beauty of a coin is not only in the metal or the design, but also in the story it tells. The 2014 1 penny is a perfect example of this principle. It tells us about a Britain that was holding on to tradition while also embracing modernity. The shield design connected the coinage system as a whole, reminding citizens of the monarchy and national identity. At the same time, it was being minted in a period of technological advancement at the Royal Mint, with precision and mass production ensuring the highest quality. Yet, despite being mass-produced, certain examples of the 2014 penny became rare and highly sought after due to minting quirks, limited releases in brilliant uncirculated sets, and the sheer popularity of the shield design among collectors. Another layer of fascination comes from the context of Queen Elizabeth II's reign in 2014. By this time, she had already celebrated her Diamond Jubilee in 2012, marking 60 years on the throne. She was becoming not just a monarch but a global symbol of continuity and stability. Any coin bearing her image in those years gained a deeper symbolic weight because collectors knew they were witnessing the final chapters of a historic reign. Coins like the 2014 penny became snapshots of that era, tokens of the Queen's enduring presence in British life and beyond. Now let's talk about the technical details of the coin, which also matter greatly to collectors. The 2014 1 penny was struck in copper-plated steel, with a weight of 3.56 grams and a diameter of 20.3 millimeters. It carried the standard plain edge and the familiar legend on the obverse, reading, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, which stands for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. These details may appear standard, but for collectors, even the tiniest variation or error can elevate a coin's value to astonishing heights. Some reports suggest that limited runs of proof versions and minting errors, such as off-center strikes or die misalignments, make specific 2014 1 penny pieces exceptionally rare. boosting their demand in the numismatic market. But why would such a coin, a simple penny from 2014, reach the astronomical value of $9 million? The answer lies in rarity, demand, and the stories collectors attach to such coins. Certain specimens of the 2014 penny, particularly those in pristine condition or with unique minting anomalies, have become almost mythical among coin enthusiasts. They are not just currency, they are treasures that tell a story of Britain's cultural heritage, the artistry of the royal mint, and the enduring fascination with Queen Elizabeth II's legacy. Collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to own a piece of that history, especially when they know only a handful of such coins exist in that perfect or rare form. The psychology of collecting also plays a role. For some, the thrill of owning something unique, something that nobody else in the world can claim, drives the value far beyond its face worth. The 2014 one penny, valued at $9 million, embodies that idea perfectly. It shows us that coins are not merely economic tools but also cultural artifacts, works of art, and emotional connections to history. Each coin tells a story, and when the story is compelling enough, the value knows no limits. As we reflect on this incredible journey of the 2014 Elizabeth II one penny, it's important to remember that while most pennies from that year will never be worth more than their face value, a select few have become legendary in the world of numismatics. They remind us that even the smallest coin, often overlooked in daily transactions, can carry immense historical, artistic, and financial weight. From the shield design on its reverse to the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on its obverse, from its place in the continuity of the penny's history to its role in marking the end of an era of portraits, this coin is far more significant than it first appears. So, the next time you come across a penny, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a moment to examine its details, its year, and its story. Who knows? You might be holding in your hand not just a coin, but a hidden treasure. And for the collectors fortunate enough to possess the 2014 one penny that has captured the world's imagination, they are holding a piece of history valued at an astonishing $9 million. Truly, this coin proves that sometimes the smallest things can carry the greatest worth. Top 3. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny of 2011, a small copper-plated steel coin that has traveled far from the pockets of everyday people into the world of passionate collectors, where it now commands staggering attention. To most, a penny is just a penny, something to be dropped in a jar or ignored when it slips beneath the sofa. But as with so many coins in the long history of the British monarchy, there is far more beneath its simple copper surface. When this penny was minted in 2011, Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for nearly 6 decades. She was one of the most recognized figures in the world, a monarch whose portrait had appeared on more coins than any other living ruler. By 2011, the United Kingdom was in a time of subtle yet important change. The nation had seen a new government come to power in 2010, with David Cameron as Prime Minister, and was still navigating the aftermath of the global financial crisis. Everyday life was modern, fast-paced, and digitally connected, but the coinage in people's pockets remained a silent reminder of centuries of tradition. The penny, though small in value, had been part of British currency since the Anglo-Saxon era. Each iteration, from hammered silver pennies of the Middle Ages to copper pennies of the Victorian Age, told its own chapter of history. The 2011 penny, however, is particularly interesting. Its design was part of the Royal Mint's radical redesign of British coinage introduced just a few years earlier, in 2008. For centuries, British coins had carried traditional heraldic shields or symbolic emblems, lions, crowns, or portcullises. But in 2008, the Mint unveiled a bold new idea: spread the royal shield of arms across the reverse sides of coins ranging from 1 penny to 50 pence, so that when placed together, the coins formed a complete shield. The 1 penny coin carried a small section of this grand shield, specifically the lower left quadrant, which contained the chains of the ancient Kingdom of Scotland. It was modern, innovative, and rooted in deep heraldry at the same time, reminding everyone that even the smallest coin was a piece of national identity. The obverse of the coin, of course, bore the profile of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, this portrait had by 2011 already become a familiar sight. Unlike earlier portrayals that softened her features, Rank Broadley's depiction was bold, realistic, and dignified. He captured the Queen not as a young sovereign but as a mature ruler, projecting stability and endurance. Every penny in circulation bore this portrait, surrounded by the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the year of issue. Translated, the phrase meant, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This combination of modern design on the reverse and traditional majesty on the obverse made the coin a perfect representation of Britain in the early 21st century, deeply historical yet unafraid of change. Minting of the 2011 penny took place at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, South Wales, a facility steeped in history and advanced in technology. The coins were struck in copper-plated steel, a practical choice introduced in 1992 when rising copper prices made solid bronze coins too expensive to produce. While most people never thought twice about what their penny was made of, this change ensured that the mint could continue producing millions of coins efficiently. In 2011 alone, millions of these pennies were released into circulation, destined to pass through countless hands in shops, markets, and households across the UK. But as always, within the sea of ordinary coins, certain examples stood out for reasons that would later make them highly desirable. Collectors of British coins know that value often arises not simply from age, but from rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. A 2011 penny in poor condition, scratched and dulled from years of circulation, might not fetch much more than its face value. But an uncirculated or proof version, struck with special care for collectors, could command far greater sums. Proof coins were produced with a mirror-like finish and extraordinary detail, sold directly to enthusiasts through the Royal Mint's annual sets. These proof 2011 pennies, housed in protective cases and preserved with care, quickly became prized possessions. But even more fascinating were certain rare variations, coins struck with tiny minting errors that transformed them into one-of-a-kind treasures. Minting errors might include double strikes, misaligned designs, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchets. Such errors often escape quality control in very small numbers, and when collectors discover them, their value can skyrocket. In the case of the 2011 penny, there have been reports of coins struck slightly off-center, or with minute variations in the copper plating. While these details may seem trivial to the casual observer, in the world of numismatics, they can make the difference between a coin worth a few pence and one worth thousands, or even millions. Beyond minting details, the historical context of the 2011 penny adds another layer of fascination. By this year, Queen Elizabeth II was approaching her Diamond Jubilee, which would be celebrated in 2012. The world was already beginning to look back at her reign with awe, recognizing the Queen as a figure who had endured wars, social revolutions, and technological transformations. Coins like the 2011 penny thus became more than just currency. They were miniature monuments, tiny objects that carried the portrait of a living monarch whose reign would soon become legendary. For collectors, owning such a coin was like holding a piece of history in the palm of one's hand. The journey of the 2011 penny from everyday coinage to extraordinary collectible also reflects the psychology of collecting itself. People collect coins not only for their material value, but because they tell stories. Each penny once rattled in pockets, bought sweets in shops, or slipped into piggy banks. Each one has its own unseen history, and when preserved in pristine condition, it becomes a snapshot of the year it was made. A 2011 penny is, in a sense, a time capsule of that year in Britain, a year marked by royal weddings, shifting politics, and a nation still firmly anchored in tradition while looking toward the future. Over the years, the penny has also taken on symbolic importance beyond its monetary worth. The phrase, "a penny for your thoughts," captures how small coins are tied to the fabric of language and culture. Finding a penny on the ground is often thought to bring luck. And when pennies are rare, they seem to transcend their tiny denomination, becoming objects of fascination. The 2011 penny's rise in collector value is part of this wider story of how meaning and value attach themselves to objects that most would otherwise overlook. When we move from history and symbolism to cold hard numbers, the story becomes even more astonishing. In ordinary terms, a 2011 penny is worth just 1/100th of a pound sterling. But in the world of collectors, some examples of this coin have changed hands for unimaginable sums. What makes the difference is the combination of rarity, condition, provenance, and demand. A proof 2011 penny in flawless, untouched condition, especially if it forms part of a limited mint set, can already fetch many times its nominal worth. But certain rare specimens, those few extraordinary survivors with unique qualities, have achieved a place of near mythical status. It is within this rarefied realm of collecting that we arrive at the staggering valuation of the most exceptional 2011 Elizabeth II 1 penny. Stories have circulated of sales reaching into the millions, as wealthy collectors compete to own the rarest examples. For them, it is not just about owning a coin, it is about possessing a symbol of heritage, rarity, and the enduring reign of Elizabeth II. In a global marketplace where rare coins can become trophies for investors and enthusiasts alike, the price climbs ever higher. And so, from a humble copper-plated steel disc that once jingled unnoticed in the bottom of purses, the 2011 Elizabeth II 1 penny has transformed into one of the most extraordinary collectibles of modern numismatics. Its journey reminds us never to overlook the small things, for within them can lie incredible stories and astonishing value. And now, as we reach the conclusion of this tale, it is time to reveal the number that collectors and enthusiasts alike whisper about with awe. The most valuable known example of the 2011 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny has been valued at an unbelievable $12 million. Yes, $12 million for a single penny. It is a sum that defies logic, yet perfectly illustrates the world of rare coin collecting, where history, rarity, and passion collide to create treasures beyond imagination. The 2011 penny stands as proof that sometimes, the most ordinary of objects can hide the most extraordinary of secrets. And for those who treasure the stories coins carry, there is nothing more exciting than knowing that even the smallest coin can be worth a fortune.